Hey everyone, this is Fish, and this is a VOD review of Kings Row Attack for Team Luxuriant. Uh,
Unless
so let's
we're
get
gonna
into
play
it.
Luxuriant. No, go
Big
well,
feet.
that
You should be
depends.
on
Alec,
Zarya.
what are you better at? Oh wait, yeah. Do you want to go through hotel or do you want to go straight point?
We're playing good for bro.
Okay, I'll amp it the choke. Everyone goes right back at them, I guess. Dude, Lucio's speed song is my theme song. Alright, you ready? Ready? Three?
Wait, it's speed in or rider?
Okay, so really quickly, if you look at your team comp, you're running Lucio, Reinhardt, Zarya, Moira, Brigitte, Diva, right? Enemy team is running Rein, Zenyatta, Mercy, McCree, Zarya, Junkrat. Okay, so in this team comp right here, the Lucio, his only job is to make sure that the Reinhardt, the Zarya, and the Brigitte, oh, that's not the Brigitte, and the Brigitte can, so they're here. The Lucio makes sure that they can get to here as fast as possible. If the Lucio's doing anything else other than this, it's just not, like he's not providing full value for his team. So, also in this team comp, the Reinhardt is probably your main damage dealer right next to Brigitte. So Brigitte needs to be making sure that Reinhardt has her full support 100% of the time. Zarya and Diva in this team comp make sure that spam damage, Junkrat, and burst damage, McCree, don't instantly eat your Moira, your Brigitte, and your Lucio, or completely get their ult right off your Reinhardt in the first 5 seconds. So, if okay, the lineup would be the Reinhardt, the Lucio, the Brigitte, the Moira, the Diva, and the Zarya, right? So the Diva, the Zarya, the Brigitte, and the Reinhardt need to be, these all need to be close together, and the Moira needs to be like shooting at them this way, right? The Moira is pretty much the only person who's not supposed to be like inside of this circle right here, which is the death ball, right? So, uh, in this death ball right here, the Diva can leave with her boosters to contest anybody who's providing like a problem for the team, like the Junkrat and the McCree, right? On the enemy team right now. That would be the two main people that she'd be contesting, right? And the Zarya can bail her out if need be with a bubble, allow the Diva to run back into the team, back into the death ball, and then you just keep going. Okay? So on the enemy team, their goal is genuinely to just build this ult as fast as possible and use this McCree to just burst down like tank these are tank busters, right? Because of the burst damage. These guys right here. So their goal is to just farm ults off of your tanks. Or well, I guess I'll count Brigitte as a tank. But their goal is to farm ult. So as long as your Diva's not DMing the damage that's coming through from here, their goal is complete. And as like if they're mechanically good enough, like if they'll just mechanically outplay you because they'll have their ults way faster than you'll have yours.
Alright, you ready? Oh, hello there!
Also, sorry for the camera work and everything. Like before going into this, like I'm
Alright, you ready?
not very
Three,
good at it.
2, 1, amping.
Okay, right off the bat, good engage. You're all grouped up right here. You moved in this way, right? Before, in the spawn room, you were talking about not going through hotel. For some reason, your Diva goes through hotel and gets trapped. I'm pretty sure that's what happens. So she's stuck back here for a long time. She's not able to DM their McCree's flashbang, who he gets 3 people with the flashbang, but nobody dies, right? This is 100% because here, let's back it up a little bit. Just watch this again. Okay. So you can see Reinhardt, Diva, Brigitte, Zarya, and Moira, Lucio, right?
Alright, you ready?
So
3, 2, 1, amp.
right here, your diva's DMing, right? Which is good. She goes to chase, which is not good. Your Reinhardt.
Oh, there.
Oops, my bad.
Where is this?
Alright, we ready?
Alright, you ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1, amping.
Your Reinhardt gets booped back here by the Junkrat mine. Or by whatever happened, he gets booped back into the back line, which leaves all of your squishies and Zarya, but Zarya can't really do anything, with this flashbang right here. This flashbang gets these 3 people, and the only reason that you don't die is because the enemy team is bad. Okay? The enemy team didn't follow up on this. Okay? So, also, if you look at the health pools right here, Reinhardt is already low. It's genuinely been 12 seconds since the spawn doors open. D.Va's low. Like, Junkrat has his ult because he just ate your D.Va's health pool and he ate your Reinhardt's health pool. And, like, if the D.Va had been more, like... Okay, if the D.Va and the Zarya had been more actively using their defensive abilities, this Junkrat would not have his ult right now, and, like, it would eliminate the possibility of him just getting a team wipe with his Riptire, right? But since Zarya and D.Va didn't use their defensive abilities, like, in the correct times, the Junkrat just, like, ate your tanks, and now he has ult. So, anyways.
Already low. I'm waiting for you.
Okay.
Alright. Pushing in. There's a jump flank
Dude,
behind.
run, 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 run.
Run.
It runs really
Oh,
low.
he's got bubble.
Okay. So right here. Whoops, my bad.
Oh my.
Fast forward a little bit. Okay, right here. This is good. This is good. This is not great. This is bad. This is bad. This is good. Okay? So these 3 are good. These 3 are bad. The Reinhardt should be right here. Swinging in, right? And his Moira should be back here. Shooting in to these 3 people right here. Zarya should be probably over here. Also shooting in this direction. The Lucio, if he had wanted to engage on the Junkrat tire, which is right here, engage on the Junkrat while he was ulting, he should have called it out and, like, allowed his tanks to do so, because his tanks can eat a Riptire. However, because he went solo, the Riptire kills him right here. Riptire kills him right here. Okay. And it's now a 5 versus 6 with
It's okay. I ate that for you guys. Go.
2 supports. Okay. Good thing comes up.
I got
Wait.
charge.
Oh, it froze. Unlucky. Hold on.
Ate that for you guys. Go.
I got charge.
Okay.
It's okay. I ate that for you guys. Go.
Why did your Reinhardt charge here? It's a 5 versus 6. Also, why is your Zarya 1v1ing a Junkrat in this room? 1v1ing. They didn't call it out whatsoever. There was no call out saying there's a Junkrat in this left room, like, help me, right? So either your team should have rotated, killed the Junkrat, or your Zarya should have been in the team and your team would have turned around, turned this direction, right? And shot at the Junkrat this way and killed him, right? That way he couldn't get any value. More likely, your D.Va should have peeled back and killed the Junkrat. The Zarya should not be doing this. Let alone doing it without any support, okay? Also, this Reinhardt charge completely enabled the enemy team to just kill your Reinhardt. Just immediately. Like, they didn't even have to pin you. They could have genuinely just shot at you and you would have died. There's nothing that your supports can do about it at this point. There's nothing that your Zarya can do about it at this point because she doesn't have sightlines on you. And it's just not a great thing, okay? So now you're fighting this 4 versus 5 because your Brigitte kills the Zarya, right? with a shield bash.
Play more together. Play
Right,
more
that's
together.
right.
You guys are all spread out. Sense one dead. Big. I'm coming back now. Their Mercy and Drunk are really low.
So at this point, the enemy team uses Valkyrie. Okay, which is great because they're fighting a 4 versus 5. This team is fighting a 4 versus 5. They had to pop Valkyrie in order to try and win this fight, which means you guys are doing your job at brawling on the point and forcing them to use high value ultimates like right off the bat, right?
I'm here. Amping heals.
So
Amping heals.
your D.Va gets demeched, but also kills the McCree while he's ulting. So the enemy team at this point has used 2 ultimates, and you have used Rally, and that's all. Okay.
Oh, nice cancel back.
Yeah,
So-
Junk low. Junk one. Junk's literally one.
Your team... Okay, your Reinhardt makes it back from spawn before the fight ends because the enemy team can't secure kills because you got rid of their Junkrat and you got rid of their McCree, right? That's really good. That's the goal of the GOATS comp. But it could be done more efficiently than you guys are doing if you would have your D.Va and your Zarya actually, like, doing their jobs in the team, I guess. So, the D.Va could have jumped on the Junkrat instead of the Lucio whenever the Lucio went this direction to kill the Junkrat while he's ulting, right? So another minor detail that I noticed, well, it's not really minor, but it's like it doesn't really fit in anywhere for me to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it right here. You guys have really good comms, especially for a 2.7k team, right? But they're not. They could be a lot more clean, right? So instead of, hold on, let me find an example.
The jump. Point.
Ryan's really low.
He's got bubble.
Oh my god.
So right here, like you're like, oh, holy shit, right? And then
That's okay. I ate that for you guys.
and then the Lucio says, it's okay, I ate that for you guys. Instead of, like, okay, I know this is really small detail, but it genuinely helps a lot, just like if you follow this for the most part, right? I don't know why I circled that right there. Anyways, so, in a team fight, right, the only information that should be passing through is status callouts of the enemy team, their ultimates, your ultimates, when you die, and another thing that ties into this is you guys should have a dedicated shot caller and a dedicated target caller, okay? So the shot caller would call when to engage on the enemy team and when to disengage, okay? The target caller would call once the team is engaged, who to kill while the team is engaging, right? I'm probably going to leave this up to you guys to figure out who you want, but I would recommend Psych Eric, Antoine, or Overwatch Man, right? Antoine, only if he's playing not Zenyatta, okay? Whoever's playing the support that is not Zenyatta should probably be the shot caller, okay? Whoever is playing the least mobile hero, Reinhardt, or Zarya, should be the target caller, because that means that if they call a target, everyone on the team has access to kill the target that they called, right? So say Reinhardt right now is like, okay, kill the Zarya. They push up and they kill the Zarya. If the Zarya had been in position somewhere over here, right? And if the Moira, and if our Reinhardt had been in position and our Moira could have taken the space here, every single person on the team, say the Zarya's here, and the Moira's here, and the Reinhardt's here, okay? Every single person on the team, the D.Va can jump on the Zarya, the Reinhardt can swing on the Zarya, the Brigitte can shield bash into the Zarya, the Moira can push forward and heal everybody while they're doing this, and the Zarya can laser the enemy Zarya, right? So, because they have the least, like, range, the least mobility, the least everything, it ensures that whoever they call is the right person to kill, because that means that every single person on the team, if they're in the right position, can kill the person that they called out. So,
Let's go.
But yeah, okay. Anyways, skipping forward, skipping.
Got him. Junk one.
Okay. So
Totally one.
Run one, run one.
this fight turns out pretty good. You guys have pretty good target calls. You kill everybody, right?
Got him.
I'm gonna push corner.
Then,
Three of us get on point.
all right.
Alright, nice.
Hold on. Let me back up. I'm not sure if you could hear that.
Zen.
One
One's
for
bubble.
shatter,
Who's
he has
got
shatter.
the
Let me
Nice.
turn this up.
Zen
Push
low,
that,
Zen
push
low.
that.
Got him.
I'm gonna push corner. Three of us
Push
get on
this, push
point.
this.
Okay. 3 of us get on point. Realistically, you should only be leaving one person on the payload at almost all times because the amount of speed increase after one person is negligible. Okay? On the other hand, the amount of potential increase when you have 5 people push up into this streets phase or into any phase for that matter that involves a payload is super huge. Okay? So say you have 4 people versus 6 people. Okay? So you have 4 people here, there's 6 people here because that's how many the enemy team has. They're going to engage on your team and it's going to be a 4 versus 6, right? So more likely than not, you're going to have to back up and the people on the payload are going to have to push forward and you're going to have to meet in the middle. If you have 5 people and they have 6 people, this makes the fight way more fair, and it makes it where if anybody on their team pushes forward more aggressively than the rest of them, you can pick them off way easier. So say, let me fast forward real quick so that I can get a better angle, because this is getting pretty messy.
Push this.
Alright, nice.
So realistically, in this team comp right here, either the Diva or the Brigida needs to be on the cart. Let me pause. Hold on. So if you have the Diva on the cart, this means that okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me back up. If you have the Diva on the cart, it would be because the enemy team doesn't have any snipers or long range that the Diva would need to shut down, right, in the front line. Because if the enemy team did have snipers, so say they had Widowmaker Hanzo, right, the Diva would need to contest at least one of those. And that would mean that if she was on the cart, she couldn't do that, or she would have to push forward off of the cart in order to do that, okay? As long as the enemy team doesn't have long-range threats that the Diva can deal with, the Brigida needs to stay on the cart because she has the least utility on the team. And she also, like, okay, so the Diva provides more damage output than the Brigida in a 5 versus 6 team fight. She provides more utility, she provides everything, okay? So if the Diva is having to contest the snipers, she needs to be forward, okay? Which leaves the Brigida on the cart because out of the rest of the team, she provides the least, right? And she also has the least movement abilities to either disengage or to engage. Other than Zarya, but you know, Zarya's a tank, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Go hella aggressive.
Okay,
Your main.
so let me hold on. Let me back up real quick,
Yeah. Go hella aggressive.
or let me back up even more. My bad.
This is hard.
Okay. So your Brigida stops here, right before the first corner. Your Diva, your Reinhardt, and your Lucio are still pushing forward, and so now it is a 3 versus 3 because 3 of them had the bad spawns.
Just get the yeah. There we go. Nice. All right, everyone back.
Okay, your Diva and your Lucio go back to cart for absolutely no reason. You should 100% be having your team push forward to at least here in the streets phase, so that you can contest them whenever they try to recontest, because they will try to recontest. So because the enemy team had the bad spawns and they're spawning right over there, it's even more important that you push them, because then you can get stagger kills, which is way more important than just keeping the space, right? So right here, this shatter, while you killed 3 people, it completely negates the premise of pushing forward to kill people who got the bad spawns. Because by pushing forward to kill the people who had the bad spawns, you're already at an advantage because you have more people. In this scenario, you only had your D.Va, your Lucio, and your Reinhardt versus their Reinhardt, their
Playing like a healer.
Junkrat, and their McCree. So by pushing forward onto the people with the bad spawns, it enables your teammates to build their ultimates by killing them. Right? You kill them because they're easy kills, because they're separated from their team, and it's a 3 versus 5 most of the time. Right? This enables your team to build their ultimates much faster. Okay? By using Shatter, completely negates the entire premise of pushing forward to kill them, because your cart is still here, and the point is here. During this amount of time, they're going to get another contest at least here by the time it gets to here, right? Which we'll see.
Alright, that was a yikes shatter. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't notice.
So Bat cleans up, kills all the people who got shattered, which I guess is you know, a little bit good. This is good that you have the Brigade on the cart, but you should absolutely have more people than the Brigade on the cart. Look, they're already taking an engagement. The cart's gotten to here. Okay, they're taking an engagement here already. So this is the Reinhardt, which you killed with the Shatter. Okay, there's no reason that you should have killed him with the Shatter, because you should have just been able to 5v6 or 5v3 him, because there was 3 people here. You should have had 5 people here. So instead of being able to just kill them, you had to use an ultimate because you only had 3 people and they had 3 people. That's not a 3, but whatever. We'll go with it.
Yeah, do that.
Careful. My shield's already half health. They're flying into me.
Fall back.
So
Beat.
this is good positioning from your D.Va. Okay, super unintentional setup for a bomb. Right, this is a really perfect setup for a bomb. Okay. Essentially, what you just pulled off was you faked an engage here, forced the enemy team to push into you, and you just backed up so that the enemy team would be in this alleyway right here, and your D.Va would be back here for a bomb to shoot right in here and kill everybody right here, right? You did this unintentionally by accidentally feeding because you didn't have support from the people who shouldn't be on the cart, who should be pushed up with you right here. You unintentionally set up a really good play, and it ends up working out for you guys because it was a good play. It was a huge bomb, okay? You win the fight. It was a good call from Antoine to not use any more ults, right? So, this gets into the point. Hold on, let me see. So this gets into the point where things start to get a little bit yikes, you know. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay, it's okay. I'm gonna...
So this is insanely good pressure. Why is that so large now? What happened? Okay. Anyways, this is really good pressure from your team. You're forcing them to take a fight with you here instead of forcing them to take a fight with you back here. Okay, so instead of fighting here, you're fighting here, which is good because the cart is here. It allows the cart to get to here before you lose the fight. You know, it's free space right here. So by taking a fight here, you're giving yourself free cart push. If you would have taken the fight here, you would have to have, or you would have had, okay, hold on. You would have had to win the fight here in order to get any cart space. However, because you took the fight here, you can lose this fight and still get the same amount of value. As long as you don't just like lose it really hard, which you don't. This was a good call on the Shatter, okay? Hold on, let me see. So another thing you guys can work on is ultimate tracking of the enemy team. Because, like, Psych Eric was like, yo, Ryan has Shatter. Which, he did have Shatter. And he did use Shatter. But he genuinely called it out less than a second before the Reinhardt actually used Shatter. Something that you could be doing is, if I rewind this pretty quickly, go back a little bit. right after this bomb, right here during this time, this is about 10 seconds or so of time where you can be discussing which ultimates the enemy team is going to have, which gives you an inherent advantage over them because you'll know what to expect, and they, at this level, likely won't be doing the same thing. Okay, this is a really integral part about. I don't know what I'm doing right now. This is really good to do. Like if you know which ultimates they have, and they do not know which ultimates you have, or which ultimates you're coming up on, which ultimates you're coming up on, right? This gives you such a big advantage because you know which ultimates on your side to save, and you know which ultimates to use in order to counter these guys' ultimates. You also know which people to be focusing down first in a team fight, i.e. Zenyatta has Transcendence, kill him first and you win the fight, because he won't be able to use Transcendence. Or Zarya has Graviton, kill her, they won't be able to use the Graviton combo, and you usually win the fight, right? High priority targets are automatically selected for you. It takes all of the heavy lifting off as long as you know which ultimates on the enemy team are active, you know? Like which people on the enemy team have their ultimates available. Automatically selects the high priority targets for you. Like you don't even have to do anything.
Right.
I'm the only one on point, by the way.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's okay. I'm gonna.
My shield's
Here,
blocked.
use my-
Watch
use
out.
my
Oh,
shield
yeah,
grab.
Shatter. Blocked.
That was a good block.
Big block.
Focus. Run.
It was an unlucky pin on your Brigitte right here. Unlucky, right? I don't know what's happening to my video right now, but anyways, they used Graviton, or hold on, they used Tire, they used Graviton, and they used Earth Shatter this team fight, and you used Coalescence, you used Beat Drop. Sorry, use Coalescence and you use Beat Drop, right? So you used 2 of 3 support ultimates, and they used both of their CC ultimates and a damage ultimate. Okay,
Watch it. Tire.
Ryan's still one.
it's good. Okay, you should have most certainly saved Coalescence here, because at the point where your Brigitte got charged and you didn't kill the Reinhardt, you lost the fight. The Reinhardt made a YOLO charge, right, to kill the Brigitte. Your team didn't immediately collapse in and absolutely own this Reinhardt, which means you're playing a 5 versus 6, and you used both support ultimates, even though you're definitely going to lose the fight, right? So then at this point, you use Shatter, which is good, because you got the majority of their team. Right? You got 4 people, I think. 3 people. Okay? You didn't communicate this with the rest of your team, meaning that maybe your Zarya was already thinking about using Graviton, which she does, so you use both Shatter and Grav, right? Which are both of your CC ultimates, which means that you cannot prevent a contest, or at least it's going to be much more difficult for you to prevent a contest over here on the final stretch to the 3rd point, right?
Big. God, bad pop.
So this is really good that you killed their entire team.
Push him in there.
Unlucky that their Junkrat got your D.Va Adamek.
I'll stay on point. I'll stay on point.
So
Yeah, Alec, let's go.
I got a really bad angle here,
They're coming
actually.
blocked.
Let me see. Okay,
Keep it right.
so you still have 3 people on the point. Okay, this is not great. You should have had people up here with your Reinhardt to support him, because this is where he wanted to hold. This is where he said he wanted to hold, right? Because you didn't support your Reinhardt up here, my philosophy is, even if your Reinhardt's throwing, or even if whoever calls the shots is throwing, at least the entire team is throwing together, which gives you a greater chance of actually not throwing, because you're doing it as a team, right? If only one person is throwing, and everybody else is doing a different thing than the person who's throwing, then you're absolutely gonna lose. But like, even if this right here was the wrong decision, if your team would have been doing the wrong decision with the Reinhardt, chances the chances of you actually winning this team fight are way higher. because your entire team is here doing the wrong thing. Even if it was the wrong thing.
Right, now, right, they went right. Reaper. Watch it.
So this point in time, you lose the team fight because you don't have your Reinhardt, and they use Shatter, kill you. Okay. They also use Valkyrie and kill you. Okay. Your Lucio gets pretty hard staggered here, I think,
They have Reaper now.
but he does get the Diva Mac, which is pretty solid.
Just realized we're dead.
Can you go?
Yeah.
What else do we think that for next fight? Go back.
Okay, this is good that you're trying to figure out which ultimates they're gonna have for the next fight, but it's bad that everybody is trying to talk over each other to get their information across.
Yeah, go Farah.
Okay. So this is another thing. Like, hold on, let me just let this play out real quick.
I'm gonna go Zen. Stay break. Stay break.
Okay, this will work. This will
They might
work.
have Shatter. They might have Shatter. They're calling.
Okay. So the enemy team has a Reaper, right? He absolutely melted your entire team. Okay. Something that you could have. Hold on, let me back up. Okay, if. A knee-jerk react. Oh, what the heck? What just happened? What just happened? Okay, anyways. A knee-jerk reaction to seeing a Reaper on the field is to just pick up a Pharmacy, right? Because, you know, Pharmacy counters Reaper in most situations. On this map, on this point, it absolutely does not. Because there's so many places that the Reaper can hide for cover. He can hide in blue. He can hide over here on the left. He can hide up here. He can hide back here. He makes the Pharah get into an uncomfortable position to actually shoot at him while he's weaving in and out of your team and just like killing your tanks, right? Just feeding himself ultimates from your tanks, okay? So if you would have stayed goats, right? If you would have kept the Rein, Diva, Zarya, Brigitte, Lucio, Moira, right? You could have effectively countered the Reaper because you would have eliminated any chance. Why does this keep increasing? What's going on? I don't understand. And anyways, if you would have stayed goats, right, you would have decreased the chance of the Reaper actually being able to take a 1v1 with any of your tanks, okay? Because your tanks would be grouped up together with the Brigitte, and the Moira would be healing them, and the Lucio would be speed boosting them, and you just not allow the Reaper to get into a 1v1 with any of your tanks. Another thing that could have helped is if the Reaper was on your supports instead of your tanks, you should have absolutely like screamed that the Reaper was behind on you, and then your team would collapse with the Lucio speed boosts onto the Reaper who's killing your support, right? Your support's right here. Okay, they're running in this direction because, you know, away from the Reaper. Your team could have just collapsed onto the Reaper with the Lucio speed boost. I know these arrows are kind of confusing, probably, but anyways.
Yeah, Val.
Sorry, what did you say?
If you would have run goats,
100% have bomb.
your Diva, your Zarya, and your Brigitte just counter the Reaper if you stick close enough together, right? Okay,
I'm pushing Rhino.
so right here,
Alright.
this is pretty solid.
Watch Diva, Diva top, Diva feeding.
Pretty, like, Pharah isn't good on this point. Pharah's not great on this point. Reaper flanks around.
Nope.
Your Zenyatta doesn't say anything when the Reaper jumps on him, which I guess is understandable because, like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize that there was a Reaper on him. Okay.
Reset.
But he should have. Okay. So at this point in time, you should.
We need to focus their Reaper.
Okay. Zarya makes it out. That's good. You keep your charge. Good job.
Okay.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Yo, we could
No,
try
go with
to
Reaper
sneak
flash
it
on
in
Reaper.
Sneaking what in?
if on cards.
The cart? No, it's too far up.
No, it's
They're
too
all the
far.
way up there.
That's way too
Okay.
far. They're holding on it.
Okay.
They have a Lucio now? Watch for Lucio.
Wait. My bad. Oh, that's not right.
Pushing Rhino. Alright.
Watch Diva, Diva top, Diva feeding. Diva feeding. Diva's one, dude, Diva's one. There it is. Oh, Sai, you're so dead.
Nope. Oh,
Reaper's behind. Fine.
You use Reaper. Nope.
Okay, so you shatter there.
Reaper back.
Free Alec,
Yo,
So if I fast forward this a little bit,
I'm moving up.
the Reaper's in the exact same flank. You know the flank. Your Pharah still doesn't check the flank, which is negative. That is not good. Okay.
Running triple heal with it.
So you call out
Okay.
eventually in this team fight that you need to be watching the flank, which I absolutely like agree with, but also you can just be inherently winning if you're running goats, okay? So, another thing happens right here. You use Shatter and you use Graviton at the same time, in the same team fight, at the same position, and there's absolutely no reason to do this. There's no reason that you need to Shatter and Graviton at the same time. They both accomplish exactly the same thing. So if you use both of them, it's counterproductive because you're doing exactly the same thing to the enemy team, except for just twice. Very specific example of why you would need to do this is if you're shattering after a Graviton ends because of whatever reason your team didn't kill the enemy team. That way it extends the crowd control that you it extends the crowd control that you have over the enemy team, okay? You're able to better control their movements with your ultimates, with your Reinhardt and your Zarya Graviton, you know, everything. Like, you just control what the enemy team does with these ultimates, right? If you use both of them at the same time, it's absolutely counterproductive.
Yeah.
Let me back up a little bit as well. Okay,
Reaper behind her. Reaper behind her.
you know Reaper's behind.
Reaper bomb.
Your Pharah, unluckily, boops the Reaper this direction, okay, which owns everybody on your team because he just shoots in this direction and kills them all, right? It wouldn't have mattered
Alec, you wanna go?
because he would have dropped down and killed your supports anyways, just instantly, right?
We can try against him, dude. I mean, like, what else we can try against him, dude?
We just need
Are we
someone to
trying
watch
to-
you.
I can stay back. I can stay back.
The Reaper doesn't. They're gonna have Shatter close.
I almost have trans, so
Where's
I mean,
Reaper at? Okay.
when they shatter, I'll trans.
So once again, Yufara is absolutely certain that this is where the Reaper came from on the flank. Yet they don't check. They do not check. Why don't they check? Why does Yufara not check? Going this back to... Yeah, anyways. Moving on.
I'm just
They don't
gonna
have
push
grab.
into this Ryan.
Oh, run low, run low. I just need
Mine's
to look
real.
Run, 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 run,
Mine's
run,
on.
run.
No.
Watch out,
He's so low. Oh, watch it, bomb behind.
fuck you. I'm dead.
That's gonna get you.
Okay, you die because they outplay you. They use ults,
You're
okay?
right to initiate.
So-
If they counter shatter, I'll
The
trans.
Reaper's above. He's above
Okay.
us. He's up
Yeah,
here.
good idea, good idea.
Okay, good call that the Reaper is above you.
He's above
Okay.
us right now. Look.
Good job.
Same with Lucio.
Your Pharah finally uses boop.
Discord Diva, Discord Diva.
But the Reaper is no longer there.
From high ground. Get ready. Already booped them off.
Oh, I pressed Q. dude.
Enemy Reinhardt shatters you. You shatter them, which is super solid. You charge in, but the Reinhardt... Oh my god, I've been using my finger on my screen. Hello? Hold on. I think I need mental help. Let me
From high ground.
Okay. Reinhardt shatters your team. Good.
Already booped them off.
Oh, I pressed Q, dude.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You shatter their team. Great.
Counter track.
Q.
You trance to save your team from the Reaper because the Reinhardt shattered you. They have no counter. That's really good. Good job. Well played. This Reinhardt, right there, watch him,
Oh my god.
gets booped by the Zarya right click to the left, which in turn
Counter track.
causes your Reinhardt to charge into nothing. Because he would have hit the Reinhardt because he was here. He got booped this way to here. Because of the it's not Zarya. Because of the Zarya, wherever she went to, right-clicking and booping him this way. So, a tip with Zarya that I heard recently is if you're not trying to build your ultimate, if you're not trying to get splash damage onto multiple people, like in a group. I don't know why the video is being this garbage right now. But if you're not trying to achieve splash damage by shooting at targets who are grouped up, right? You should never use your right click because your left click is better at doing sustained damage, okay? It's more reliable, it's everything. So as long as you're not trying to build your ultimate by getting splash damage off of the enemy team, you should absolutely be using your left click almost all the time. Use your right click almost exclusively to building your ultimate, right? Whoops.
Reaper, coming up for a backline. Reaper on backline.
Reaper no way. Reaper no way.
Okay.
Grabbing.
Good grab.
Towards Ryan.
Solid grab. Ryan dies. Unlucky. Nobody on their team dies.
Oh, big flash,
Unlucky.
big flash. Ryan's still one, dude. Reaper no.
Reaper.
Your Pharah has ultimate,
Towards Ryan. Reaper no. Reaper. Oh my god. Ryan.
but
Reaper coming up for a backline.
she's over here for some reason. Why is your Pharah over here?
Towards Ryan.
She could be over here, in position for this grab, and kill all of them. Instead, she dies to the D.Va on the high ground. Why does this happen?
Discord Reaper. Reaper no fade. Reaper no fade.
Okay, why do you use ultimate? Whatever, never mind. Okay, hold on. Back up.
Mercy one.
Back up. Back up.
He's going for boob. Oh my god.
Okay. So far on their team, we've established Reaper is a problem, and D.Va is countering your Pharah. Your Pharah is often over here in their backline. And you should have stayed goats. Okay, that's what we've established in this team fight. Okay, something else is they're running triple support. As long as you can eliminate the Reaper, they have absolutely 0 damage. And you completely destroy their entire team, especially if you're running goats, because they won't be able to eat through your massive health pools and the massive amount of healing. Okay? As long as you kill the Reaper, killing the Reaper is the win condition. Okay? As long as you kill the Reaper, you win the team fight. You don't even have to use ultimates most of the time. Okay? So, because your Pharah is over here and not shooting at the Reaper, which is her job on this team, because, like, that's why you swapped to the Pharah, I'm assuming. Like, nothing is happening, right? You're not going to win the team fight as long as this Reaper's alive, because he's just destroying your team, right? This ultimate is kind of iffy, but that's okay.
Mercy one.
Okay, hold on, back up. This is a big thing as well. Okay, so
Reaper's left-hand side.
so you can see their Reaper's over here, their Lucio's here, and the rest of their team is moving in this direction, right? So at this point in time, you know the Lucio's out of position and the Reaper's out of position, okay?
Mercy one.
So your McCree engages on the Reaper. This is good. Nobody here engages on the Lucio, even though he's genuinely trapped in a corner. He's trapped in a corner as long as your Reinhardt moves in this direction and your Zarya pushes in this way. Okay, hold on, let me delete some things. As long as your Reinhardt pushes in this direction and your Zarya pushes in this way and just shoots at him and your Zenyatta discords him, you should absolutely kill this dude, okay?
Mercy one.
So you can see your Reinhardt, instead of pushing on the out of position Lucio, okay? Hold on. Tunnel visions and goes straight either for the D.Va or the Mercy. I'm not sure which. The Mercy was called out, but the D.Va is who he ended up actually going for. Okay? While the Lucio is still in your backline, being discord and shot at by your Zenyatta, and your Zarya is also, I think, trying to kill the Lucio. Let me see. Yes, but using right clicks.
No, get Lucio for Ryan.
Unfortunately.
Behind you, Ryan.
I can't.
Okay.
Keep the shield up.
Let me back up a little bit. I'm gonna increase the comms real
Behind
quick.
you, Ryan.
I can't. I have to keep the shield up.
Okay. Why would you have to keep the shield up in this situation? Okay, this is a really bad time to pause.
Discord D.Va.
Okay. Let me.
No, get Lucio for Ryan. Behind you, Ryan.
I can't.
Why would you need to keep your shield up in this position? Reaper's dead. Zenyatta's dead. Who on their team can deal damage to you? The Lucio and the D.Va, right? The Reinhardt is back here, I think. Okay. The D.Va is like mid-range away, so she's literally like missing the majority of her shots. Okay. You can shield hop at least up to them, but mostly you can just walk into their team. You don't need to be using your shield resource at this point in time, okay? Especially because your Zarya bubbled you. You can like You could even charge into their team for all that matters, okay? You probably shouldn't, but you absolutely could, and you wouldn't die because they have no damage on their team whatsoever, okay? Saying that you can't because you need to keep your shield up makes absolutely no sense because you still have all of your health, including the armor, okay? You have half of your armor still, meaning that D.Va does basically nothing to you, okay? Nobody else on their team can deal damage to you, and you could at least be shield hopping.
I have to keep the shield up.
Okay, you could be taking at least this much more space. Okay, this to there. Okay, that's about there. Okay, that's like halfway between where the payload is and where you need to get the payload to. Okay, you could be halving the amount of effort that your team needs to take this point, right? Just by walking forward, just by existing in this position right here. You reduce the amount of effort that your team has to expend on this team fight because the cart is just going to get pushed for free. So, something negative that could come from this, I guess, is by taking too much space and getting killed by the enemy team and therefore getting 0 value. But that, like, the thing about taking space is you just have to know, like, how much space you need to take, right? So taking about this much space makes the D.Va and the Lucio out of position again, okay? Because they're on this side of your team, okay? They're on this side of the space wall, the invisible space wall, just by you being right here in this position, okay? I'm gonna make this black actually. So you're here, and this is the space wall, okay? The Lucio's on this side of the space wall, the D.Va's on this side of the space wall. Your team can effectively engage on either of these people with little to no consequence from the rest of their team, which is right here, right? So, yeah. Okay. Because you didn't kill the Lucio, and he was in this position right here, he killed both of your tanks. So, in a team fight, or that could have been easily won, had you just killed the Lucio, and you probably would have even gotten it to the 3rd point at this point in time. Because you didn't kill the Lucio, he kills you, okay? If you had killed the Lucio, he wouldn't be able to do that, okay? So let me just fast forward a little bit.
Just watch Reaper, you see him right.
Yeah, he's in
Yeah,
mega.
he has ult, he has ult, he has ult.
Starting to move up. They're running. Shatter.
I'm gonna
Okay.
Discord, Lucio,
Oh, that was
That was a really lucky boop for you, not for the Lucio. That was really unlucky for him, but that was really lucky that you landed like on the pixel that you needed to not die, you know. So, let's see. This is a really bad camera angle on my part. The Reinhardt charges in, kills Overwatch Man, okay? At this point in time, the entirety of your team, including your Pharah, who for some reason is still in this position, even though your team is taking an engagement here, not sure what's happening. The entirety of your team should be turning around and murdering this Reinhardt because he is extremely out of position. His team is mostly here with a Reaper and a Lucio here, okay? The most support he could get would be a Lucio and a Reaper, okay? So if you can kill this Reinhardt fast enough, these guys are probably going to put... Hold on, let me delete some things. Okay. If you can kill this Reinhardt fast enough, these guys are going to push in which case you push back and you kill them as well, okay? And then it's a 3 versus 4 as long as nobody dies in the process. I'm going to say 4 because the Pharah is over here doing her own thing and there's only 4 people here, right? So as long as you kill the Reinhardt, these people are going to push in to try and support the Reinhardt, which means that you can kill them and then push in onto the rest of their team, which is just, at that point, a D.Va, a Zenyatta, and a Mercy, right? So, because you didn't turn around, Reinhardt's alive, and Lucio doesn't have to bail him out. Lucio doesn't have to push in to bail out the Reinhardt because he's not. The Reinhardt's getting 0 pressure. Okay. Let me back up a little bit. Okay. At this point in time, why does your Pharah ult on the D.Va? Like, I know there's a Zenyatta right here. I know the Zenyatta has Transcendence, but why does your Pharah ult into a D.Va who's fully mech'd, full HP, and full sound barrier? Right? You're not going to demech him. Okay. Also, by ulting here, you provide absolutely no value for your team right here. And you just kill yourself because there's a Zenyatta over here just shooting into you because you're stationary, and there's a D.Va shooting into you. There's even the Lucio right here shooting into you, right? You make yourself a free kill just by doing this, okay? So not only do you waste an ultimate, but you also kill yourself, effectively.
Big res. Watch Ryan. Reaper's gonna.
I got Ryan.
This was a good pin. Your team, once again, should have immediately buckled backwards and killed him. Okay?
Reaper's gonna ult. Ryan.
Which they kind of do. But the Reaper interrupts that by throwing. Okay? He just comes in and he does exactly what your Pharah did to the enemy team, and he ults inside of a D.Va. Right? Like, I'm really confused what's happening.
We gotta touch. Yeah, I gotta touch.
So, that was a huge shatter, and it would be a great opportunity for your Pharah to ult on the rest of their team. Because at this point in time, the Zenyatta is earth shattered right here. So, effectively, what the Pharah was trying to do is eliminate the Zenyatta from play earlier on. So she could have done that much easier because the Zenyatta is now under the influence of a crowd control ultimate, right? So he has absolutely nothing he can do against the Pharah ult. She can definitely kill the Zenyatta, definitely kill the Lucio, and probably kill the Mercy if she had her ult right here, okay? But because she wasted it on the D.Va and died, she had to make the swap to Tracer in order to make it back to the cart faster. And also, because your D.Va got demech'd by the D.Va bomb, there's no damage follow-up on this shadow right here, okay? Your Reinhardt kills the Lucio, which is great. Okay, let me back up a little bit.
I got 3.
Your Reinhardt fire strikes the Lucio, and then swings him, right? Oh, it froze. Hold on.
Discord.
He then charges, pins the Reinhardt, brings him to 0 HP, boops the Zenyatta in this direction, and hold on. Eventually kills the Reinhardt. So your Reinhardt kills 2 people with his shatter, even though you had essentially no damage follow-up, and their Zenyatta had Transcendence. Not sure why he saved it. It makes absolutely no sense. So your Zenyatta, or their Zenyatta, rotates from here over into here, right? Because he got booped over here, and so he had to come back, right? So now on top of surviving both a barrage and an earth shatter, he's being pressured by the Tracer.
Zen's 1.
D.Va's 1, dude.
And eventually dies
D.Va's 1.
to the Tracer with his Transcendence. Effectively, the Zenyatta threw so hard that it gave you, your team, the opportunity to even think about winning this fight. If the Zenyatta had used Transcendence during the Earth Shatter, you would not have won this fight. It would have been absolutely lost, and you would have lost right here. Okay?
D.Va's 1.
D1.
I almost have trans.
Good DMAC. That was pretty solid.
Mercy. Yeah, Mercy. She's discorded.
Lucio stun.
I got booped.
Lucio 1.
Mercy's so low.
Someone back up for Mercy.
Going back with that.
Mercy's 1 health. Dead. Big.
Nice.
Push
behind.
Run. Alright, watch Lucio. I'm going back as Lucio.
Alright, watch it.
D.Va's 1.
D1.
I almost have trans.
Coming back with that.
Bad, I got you.
Mercy.
Yeah, Mercy. She's discorded.
Lucio stun.
I got booped.
Lucio 1.
Mercy solo.
Someone back up for Mercy.
Okay, hold on. There's another thing I had to say.
Right.
Let me go back a little bit. My bad.
Right.
Not a little bit. It's actually a pretty long ways.
Yeah. Oh,
Yo.
Okay.
Sorry, go back.
So this is still.
Stay.
Sorry, what did you say?
This is right after you lost to the Reaper. Okay, this is the first flank. The first flank. Okay. Your Brigitte has ulti. She should use it immediately. She should absolutely use it right here whenever you push in. If she had used her ultimate right, like way before, this would have meant that your Zenyatta wouldn't die to this Reaper right here. Okay, so if you watch, the Reaper drops down, and 3 shots your Zenyatta. Okay, this would not have happened if your Brigitte had used ultimate way earlier. Okay, that was like a long time ago, but like I just forgot to say something about it. Okay, if we move forward,
Alright, watch loose.
okay, so right here, you shattered the Reinhardt. Good job. Okay, good shatter.
Alright.
You then try to pin the Reinhardt or pin into the wall or something. You realize that the Reinhardt is dead, or at least this is what I'm assuming happened. And then you realize that the Zenyatta is trancing from this direction, so you try to change your path to kill the Zenyatta and instead overshoot your charge and hit this wall back here. Right? That's the best case scenario, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Watch loose.
So you should have absolutely just hit this wall so that you could help your team on the cart. Because you provide more value helping your team on the cart right here than you do pinning the Zenyatta over here. You provide more value than the trancing Zenyatta that you're pinning, that you're keeping out of the fight for like an extra second. Because he can make it back to the fight much faster than you can make it back to the fight. And also, his ability has a huge radius, right? Huge radius. I can't draw circles. Huge radius, okay? He has much more effectiveness, like being taken out of the fight, because he has the extra speed boost to get back, right? Okay. Anyways. So I'm pretty sure that your D.Va player called to bomb on point at one point in time. And if your Reinhardt player hadn't had charged the Zenyatta over here, he would have been on cart for the D.Va to bomb on point when she called it, right? So this is kind of like a team error. It's not 100% Big Feet's fault, okay? It's a little bit of Psych Eric's fault. It's a little bit of Bat's fault. And it's a little bit of Big Feet's fault, okay? Anyways, that was my review of the King's Row attack, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, if you have anything else, just message me on Discord. Yeah, that's about it.